All righty. Hello and welcome everyone to Oco Crew. I am just thank you so much for everyone who came and all the Oco Crew members who helped put this deck together, all the conversations we've had over the phone and over weeks and months, defining and figuring out what Oco Crew is. I'm so excited to share what Oco Crew's mission is with you all and what we'll be doing in the future. All right. So what is Oco Crew? Basically, we are here because climate change is a defining challenge of our lifetime. The evidence is very clear that as a society, we aren't sustainable right now, and the ways we operate need to change. We need to understand what we're doing that we can do better and come up with lots of scientific, creative, social solutions to make the future more sustainable. Politicians and corporations have made lots and lots of promises and initiatives, but a lot of the times we see that they fall short. They don't always come to fruition, and we can't wait on politicians and corporations for our climate goals. The challenge there is that that's a daunting concept for a lot of people. And how do we kind of, as individuals, possibly try to face climate change? Well, basically what we think at Oco Crew is that the world needs grassroots climate action as well as, initiatives from governments, corporations, etc. We can all play a role in tackling climate change. And when we work together, we can have a greater impact. So basically what we've learned with Oco Crew as an experiment is that there is strength in numbers. The scale of climate solutions are sometimes quite big. And so as an individual, you can have some impact, but when we pool our efforts together, we can have a far greater impact, get the attention of larger initiatives, and get more done supporting projects that really do make a difference. Basically, the research shows that people care more about climate change than they take action. Sometimes they don't know what to do. Sometimes it's too much work. And basically, what we want to do is make it easy for everyone to be able to take action. All right. And yeah, so that's why Oco Crew's mission is to make climate action easy and fun for everyone. We're a brand new grassroots nonprofit. And what we do is we come together to support impactful climate projects. We are a group that shares optimism as one of the things. So basically, we don't take climate action out of fear, but more so out of hope, out of the idea that we can make an impactful difference that benefits the future. We're not doing this out of guilt because we think it's our fault, but because it's our future and we care about it. Yeah, and so what Oco Crew is a community funding real climate projects and taking climate action together. The idea came about because basically I have worked in tech, in design, and wanted to take climate action myself. I'd taken a few environmental classes. I'd spent a lot of time in nature, but I'm very much an outsider to the climate movement, and basically found that it should be easier for everyone to participate in climate action, not just someone who identifies as a political activist or an environmental scientist, but anyone, anyway. And so one of the beautiful things about Oco Crew is really bringing lots of different perspectives and people with different skill sets together to come up with new creative solutions to climate change. Yeah, so basically, we're figuring out how to reduce CO2 from the atmosphere together. Donating to impactful climate projects on our own right now can be really ineffective and very confusing. Some of the when you search for giving to climate projects, some of the highest ranked ones on Google are the least effective because they put their budget towards marketing to be that top search. And so some of the most powerful, impactful projects are harder to find. And we want to surface those projects for more people. Oco Crew was created to make it simple for anyone to donate to vetted climate projects and maximize our impact. To date, the Oco Crew has reduced over 4 million pounds of CO2 from the atmosphere. Now, it's not too easy to imagine what pounds of CO2 are. So as an equivalent, that is over 33,000 tree sap seedlings grown for 10 years. And it's really amazing because almost all of that was done before we became a nonprofit. And it is the result of over 750 grassroots donations. All right, so I'm very excited to introduce Vincent. He is the VP of Oco Crew and leads our research committee. And he's going to talk about how we decide where we give.
All right, thank you, Ben. So let's see here. If you could go to the next slide, perfect. So, you know, as Ben was mentioning, like the real way to have impact is when you have community and people coming together. There's strength in numbers, right? And so the problem with the current setup of people maybe wanting to take climate action, but not knowing how, or just feeling like the demand is too large, stems from what Ben was also just describing of the current process just not being conducive to making it easy for everybody, right? It was essentially cumbersome and I don't know, leaves people feeling powerless. And even if you do donate money, you don't know where that's really going. So, you know, that's essentially what we're doing here is making a pathway and infrastructure to make that as easy and convenient for people as possible. That way we get more people in the door. And it's not, you know, just about how much money can we raise. That is a big part, and I'll speak to it in a moment. But how do we create a community where people can donate $1 a month, $5 a month, the cost of a sandwich a month, whatever they want, on top of being curious if they want to find other like-minded people to chat about things happening in the climate space, or, you know, coming in and just wanting to learn more. As Ben mentioned, he wasn't an environmental studies major or scientist, and it shouldn't be that way where you have to be that person to be able to talk about climate change. So that's what we're addressing here, is just building that pathway to make it easy for people, and in the process having large numbers to do something really great. So into how we actually do that, as you can see here, every quarter we donate to climate action projects that we vet, well, we research and vet and then donate to. With the money that's donated by our grassroots members, which Ben mentioned was, you know, over 700 people. So for us just pulling this together, I am so grateful and happy of where we've come, but there's a lot more to come. So we want to make it easy for anybody to help and donate to impactful projects, but what does impactful entail? To me, one way to put it is per dollar, the offset is significant compared to other options out there, right? So if we're going to do this, we need to hold ourselves to high standards and ensure that anyone who decides to fund climate projects via Oco Crew knows their money is being dispersed wisely. It's important not to forget that time is of the essence, and, you know, hence we need to be as effective as possible. It is something we're going to have to learn through and grow with, but that is the way that we should be looking at this. You know, every day counts and every dollar raised counts. And the more people we get, even like I said, donating $1 a month, the more, for example, trees we'd be able to restore and grow and protect, and hence the more the better we'll be able to mitigate the effects of climate change. If you wouldn't mind skipping to the next slide then. Okay, great. So if we're gonna build a community and bear the responsibility of, allocating all of our funds efficiently, we need to be transparent. I truly believe that if there's no trust in Oco Crew and what we're doing, there will be no community and the impact will be limited. So, I'd like to explain a little bit about how we choose the projects we donate to and how we think about our overall strategy. As Ben mentioned, I am part of the research crew at Oco Crew, which essentially is a group of people with varying backgrounds in science and philanthropy. So, this way we get to have discussions and, collectively discuss what we deem the best use of our donations with the current scope. And there's a few principles to give a broad scope of how we do this. The first being that, we want to leverage against the standards of existing and reputable organizations to meet international standards, right? So there's a few listed here that you'll see on the slide: Project Drawdown, Vera, Gold Standard. Highly encourage you to just look them up. Really great organizations that talk about like, what solutions do we have to climate change and how do we do this? And, when you look into what the solutions are, you'd be surprised and hopeful, I think, about, oh, there are actual very real things we can be doing as a society. And, this is why we're here, because we wish we see this happening on a larger scale, but we can help facilitate that. So, Project Drawdown, for example, it's one of the most influential research-backed databases of climate solutions on the planet, amongst others. Another principle is it cost effective? Is there strong performance relative to other projects? So, similar to what Ben was alluding to previously, you can look up a bunch of stuff on Google, but like finding out how impactful it actually is a tricky part and might keep people from following through, which is why we're here. Do that so it's easy for people and they can trust and see that, because we're transparent about the process if anybody wants to learn more. Which leads me to the point of, ongoing community feedback. This is something that we're building along in the process, and really something that we encourage people to join in on and get engaged with, and we're always willing to learn and be better. The last principle I would say is the social impact of local communities. A lot of times the projects that we're funding are in developing countries, and we need to ensure that these projects that we're funding are helping and empowering the local communities as well, which is great to see, because that's something that we've been doing, which I can go into a little bit, but to keep moving along, one thing I wanted to describe is that there's different categories of climate projects that we can fund. Right now, we're really focusing on carbon sinks. These are natural environments like a forest or an ocean, which are viewed in terms of their ability to like absorb carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Our most recent donation was via sea trees, which is part of a larger nonprofit called Sustainable Surf, to plant and protect mangrove ecosystems. Mangroves are nature-based solution that they leverage the strength that already exists in nature to mitigate and adapt to the impact of change. So long story short, they are really good at capturing and storing carbon. And, in that process, also help the natural ecosystems of which they already are in there. So the projects we've been funding currently via sea trees do that. They're very impactful. They're about 4 times more impactful capturing and storing carbon than a typical tree. So again, if you have any questions on any of that, feel free to throw them in the chat. Be happy to answer them as well. And that about sums it up in terms of the main principles of how we're doing this. But like I said, always happy to elaborate if anybody has any questions.
Thanks so much, Vincent. Yeah, if you have a question, throw it in the chat and we can get to it shortly. But yeah, it's absolutely amazing the work Vincent and the research committee are doing. I'm an outsider. I've taken a few environmental classes, but basically this is a group with tons of graduate education in environmentalism and real world experience in nonprofits, ESG, and philanthropy. And it is amazing that all of them are just donating their time to put together this research framework so that we can give to the absolute best spots. So I just want to say thank you, Vincent. And I don't know if other people on the research committee are on this call, but it is really, that is something that just blows my mind. It's so cool. All right, so this is how we donate, but you don't just have to donate to be a part of Oco Crew. Now that's where we started, and that is one of the real quantifiable, impactful ways we make a difference, but there are a lot of different ways to get involved. So we got 4 right here that you'll be able to do. You can do all 4 of these like after this call, if you feel so inclined. The first one is to sign up for our free monthly email newsletter or follow us on social media. Right now, our goal is to, and I'll get to it in a moment, but our goal is to get passionate people together. It isn't so much to get you all to give some amount of money at this exact moment. Now, we would love you to, but basically we believe that there's power in getting a big group of passionate, thoughtful people, specifically from different backgrounds, deeply caring, great people that have already joined this group. And so we would love for you to sign up for the email. Super easy. If you already have, thank you so much. The next one is Geneva, like Slack or something like Discord, maybe like a Facebook group. Geneva is our home to our online community. And as time progresses, we want to focus more and more energy and activity into our online community. We got a lot of people on this call from California and New York, but there are a lot of support for Oco Crew in other countries, other continents. And so we center our community online because we want to reach a larger audience that shares our same feelings. All right, next one is to take part in club events. I'll share more on that in a second. And then, the last one is just to donate, which is super easy through the website, one time or monthly. If you, and this is a work in progress, but if you give $15, basically anyone that gives just $15 once is kind of considered an official Oco Crew donor. And we're going to be engaging that group more in the future, just as kind of a pledge of an individual. You don't need to give ongoing, though. It's really great if people can give, let's say, $15 a month annually. That nets out to the average American CO2 contribution. But yeah, 15 months is right now how you become an official member. All righty. All right, yeah. And so as a nonprofit, we have our first goal for our project, which is to get 1,000 email subscribers. Today we have 360 free email subscribers. And we believe that it's really powerful to bring 1,000 passionate people together that are really genuinely engaged and interested in what we're doing. And so that's what we'll be focusing on. We want everyone to take action as much as possible, but really getting 1,000 people into the group would just be so powerful. And then once we have that, we'll set up another goal, but basically creating that home to people who really care. All right. And then the final thing I'm sharing, and that's really where Oco Crew is at right now. Our mission, I'll just do a recap. Our mission is to make it easy and fun for everyone to take climate action. We make it really easy to give to vet projects, and Vincent and the research committee have an amazing approach where every quarter we give to really impactful projects. And we have an online community that we're also going to try to get people involved. And then we're over time going to try to find more and more different ways that fit more and more different people's needs to take climate action. And I'm going to announce on this next slide, and I'm very, very excited for this new initiative, for one of those things, as an easy thing anyone can do to take climate action. It is very simple, but I think it's very powerful. And it is a climate book club. Okay. Adam's laughing. Today we are kicking off a book club where we can discuss climate together. And every month we're going to get together to discuss a topic. So you don't have to, it'd be great if everyone read it. You don't have to read it, but you can join along and sit in on a conversation. And we'll get through a book every quarter. Our first book, it's on the screen, but I'll hold it up too, is Eating Animals by Jonathan Safran Foer. Adam ordered it as well. It's a fun read. Jonathan, and this is recommended by an Oco Crew member. It's a fun read. It is by a novelist named Jonathan Safran Foer, who writes in fiction and nonfiction. It is memoir style, kind of investigative journalism. It is like a super light read, and it really embodies a bit of this. This book is the first reason this is the first book of our book club, is that it kind of embodies being someone who maybe isn't a climate expert, maybe isn't a political activist, but is interested in the topic of climate and explores it. And it's light. It's got amazing reviews. And so I'm really excited. So order this book. There's going to be about a 2 to 3 week window until people have to start reading it. So there's no rush. And then, yeah, so this book, let me do a little live math. I studied math, so I should be able to do math on the fly. But, basically, we're going to read it in a quarter. That means about 100 pages a month, 25 pages a week. So shouldn't be too hard. Reads really light. I started it last night. And yeah, I am super excited. So we'll send an email out early next week about this book club. Order the book. We're going to be doing this thing. I am super excited about this. And if you have book recommendations for, say, the next book, share it in Geneva, because this is a way where we can all come around. I'm so excited about this book club. I could talk about it forever. Basically, it's a great way for us to come around and talk about a specific topic and be on the same page and explore a different aspect of climate in a really friendly, fun, digestible way. So that's very exciting. And yeah, with that, I'd just like to say thank you all so much for joining for this chat, taking time out of your afternoon on this Tuesday.